All right, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host, once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Sundays, boy, what do I want to say? Lions Talk Live, morning show edition. And even though maybe I'm not fully awake just yet today, hey, we got the show up and going, and we're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson today. I think he's been kind of forgotten about throughout a lot of the community this season. Hold on, let me turn some sound down here. A lot of community talk just is centered around other people. I get new players on the team. Everybody's focusing on those guys, and nothing wrong with that. But Aiden Hutchinson has had a rather impressive start to his NFL career. I think we can all agree he's become a centerpiece for the Detroit Lions defense. With that being said, that young man has taken his game to a new level, it would appear, and something that hasn't gone unnoticed from the Detroit Lions coaching staff and everybody watching in attendance. So the defensive end got off to an impressive start to his career, already having 21 sacks in 2 seasons. He's also coming off leading the league in total pressures. Keep that in mind. He's getting to the quarterback better than anybody, just hasn't been able to finish up. Now, could you blame that on maybe not having more support around him, where the quarterbacks are able to step up in the pocket to avoid him? There's a lot of debate how we could go through all that and approach it. We'll get into all that today. However, for just being 23 years old and only through 2 NFL seasons so far, I think a lot of fans out there, anybody watching this, is going to be able to say perhaps it was one of the better things for us that the Jacksonville Jaguars did not go after Aiden Hutchinson with the number 1 overall pick. Instead, the Lions were able to get him at number 2. If you remember, the Lions ran up to the podium to snag him, and that drew some ire from the NFL as they'd like to try to drag on the draft a little bit more just to get in more commercials, etc. And the fact that the Lions ran up to the podium so fast, maybe didn't sit the best with them, but not the end of the world by any means. So entering this OTA season, it seems like Aiden Hutchinson has firmed up his body even more, taken his game to another level, and you're seeing the product on the field really emerge as somebody who could potentially be, if not the best NFL defensive end, definitely the conversation for that. I know earlier this week, Pro Football Focus came out and listed Aiden Hutchinson as the 6th best defensive end in all the NFL. So keep that in mind. I know there's some Lions fans that want him to do even more. I think often we forget he's only going to be entering his 3rd year this year, and he is already arguably a top 5 defensive end throughout all of the league. All right, before we get into the show in earnest, a couple of real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that push to get to 6,800 subs, and if you could help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you enjoy the video and the content within the channel, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button, like button, whatever you want to call it button. It helps it out a lot. We try to get each video to between, say, 200, 300 likes. It just helps push the content out to more and more people that perhaps are not yet aware of Lions Talk Live. Last but never least, if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's see what we can do to save you some money, make the process a whole lot easier, and help you find that new home, that new property, maybe to go hunting on or to build a home on, maybe list your home and sell it. Whatever it may be, give me a contact call. Let me use over 30 years of experience to make the process easy, save you some money, and get you on to your next thing in life. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Aiden Hutchinson, where do you guys think he is? Is he the top 10 defensive end? Is he number 1? Is he number 5? Is he number 8? Is he number 42? You let me know where your rankings are for him. I would think he's probably not that low. But, hey, let's see what you got for him. As far as regular season stats, in 2023, he had 51 total tackles, 36 solo, 15 assists, 11.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries, 1 interception. You get it. That's a pretty impressive season. Now, in the postseason, he finished with 10 tackles, 8 solo, 2 assists, 3 sacks. Again, not too bad at all. So he's off to a good start in his career. Like I said, you look at his career stats, and he's in rare company when it comes to what he's done in just 2 seasons. And it seems like he's only going to be getting better. Again, what we're hearing out of OTAs is that he just looks stronger, faster, more polished with his hands, using his moves. I think we all know about the spin move he's employed his first 2 years. and how it's really developed. He's now appearing to have more rounded range with different moves to use to get past offensive linemen in his efforts to get to the quarterback. And that's why a lot of people believe he's just getting started in the NFL, getting his career going. That this is only the what we've seen the first 2 years, just the start of where he's really going to go with his career. And that's, given the fact he's already got 21 sacks in 2 seasons, it seems like he could be pushing up to more like 15, 17 sacks a year, at least in the next couple of years. If that happens, would you call him, a perennial Pro Bowler year in and year out? Could he be making a move to get a gold jacket? I guess that's what we'll have to debate and wait and see. But either way, Aiden Hutchinson this offseason has not been talked about probably as much as he should be. We've been focused on Aleem McNeil, who's going to be the guy opposite Aiden Hutchinson. We've been talking about the linebackers, the secondary. Aiden Hutchinson has kind of slipped under the radar, so to speak. And you know what? Maybe we need to do a deep dive into him, which is the focus of today's show. So let's see what you guys have to say. All right, Michael D. Greens and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation points, Super Bowl or bust, back at you. Hope you're having a great one. One pride and woo, woo. Good morning to you, Michael, and thank you for getting the show off to a strong start. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. $40.5 million. Show me the money, exclamation point. I see Super Bowl. Woo! Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, yesterday I did a video. It came out yesterday that Sporadics, among other places, were reporting the Detroit Lions were going to end up with roughly $40.5 million in cap space now that June 1st has passed. Cam Sutton's contract, at least the vast majority of it, appears to be returning to the books of the Detroit Lions. So what do you do with all that money? And I thought about doing another video on it today, but I was like, we kind of did it yesterday. Let's move on to something else, Aiden Hutchinson. But could it be? I know there are a lot of you who suggested, hey, let's wait until cuts happen, see who's available, add more strength to the team. There were some people yesterday that said, we need to trade and go get T. Higgins from Cincinnati. Always an option. There were other people that said, hey, let's pay down some people's contracts to try to make Jared Goff or Amon-Ra St. Brown cheaper on a year-to-year basis by moving that money to them this year. Definitely a good option. There were also those that said, hey, let's start re-signing other guys now at today's prices versus the future. And that's a lot of people had commentary about, Aleem McNeil, Hutchinson. Hutchinson still is going to have his 5th-year option. So Hutch is a while out, but obviously the faster you re-sign him, probably going to save some money. So let's see if you guys have thoughts on that. Go ahead and throw them in the comment section also. All right, Bo, caveat Emperor, you can't always get what you want. No, you cannot always get what you want, but we can sure try to get what we need. I see what you were doing there, Bo. Just what do you got? Greetings, cash, salutations, all. Coach, exclamation point. We need to spend that money on making the offense unstoppable for a season or two. Get on the star receiver. And there are those who made that suggestion yesterday. I don't think there's a wrong way to approach what you do with the money. I think all those options would be wins for the team. Could you go get T. Hutchinson? Could you go get, I don't know, whoever else? I'm trying to think who are some other wide receivers you could go out and get at this point. I think there is a case to be made for that for sure. I also think the Detroit Lions coaching staff has kind of come out of their way and said, hey, we're okay with what we have. So could it be that they're going to go for somebody? Sure. Could it be that they're going to pick up somebody who gets cut? Absolutely. I think it seems like more of a Brad Holmes move, though, to say we're going to use this money and A, maybe pay down some of these contracts a little bit, but B, more than likely, re-sign some of the current Lions or drafted Lions, people that they know what they've got in them. Because I know Brad Holmes has made comments on that a lot. He prefers re-signing their own players, people they've drafted. Now I've gotten to know. They know who they have in them and how they fit in the structure of the franchise. So that would seem like a possibility, but doesn't mean they won't acquire other people either. All right, Bo, wide receiver, safety, or edge, question mark. What would you spend on? If it was me, and by no means are they asking me, it would probably be more wide receiver. It's nothing against safety or edge. I just think we already have 3, potentially 4 real good ones there. And I'm throwing Rakestraw into the mix there at safety. Although, to be fair, you could throw the beauty of this year's secondary is the vast majority of these guys can play safety or corner and vice versa. So I really think edge safety, since we're going Blitzburg, edge I don't think is as big a need as most of us anticipate it may be. Now, if we're going to play more, standard shell coverage, drop 7 into a zone coverage like most of the NFL, then yeah, you're going to need more of a dominant defensive end who can get a higher win rate. Because I don't think that's going to be the case. You're just going to rely on more X and O's, gap integrity, or gap displacement, I guess you should say, from the defense, and athletes being able to simply bull rush and get past the offensive linemen, shoot gaps, use their speed. That's where I think Betts, James Houston, and Davenport will really shine. Everybody will go, okay, we might be good here. The same with other guys, like some of the linebackers. I think they're going to do a real good job with that. So with that being said, if the secondary really is as strong as I'm anticipating, I'd probably be more apt to spend the money, at least some of the money on offense. Now, probably going to be receiver, I guess, because I think tight ends is probably as good as it's going to be. Same with the running backs. Offensive linemen, I just don't see you bringing in some big stud who's going to make a huge impact, not with just really paying a ton. So it would probably be the wide receiver room and then paying down other contracts if you were to ask me, Bo, what to do. All right, Frank the Tank. Woo! Go Lions. Good morning to you, Frank. Hopefully having a great one. Frank again. Frank the Tank saved the $40 million. The only player I would trade for is that monster from the Raiders, Crosby. Go Lions. Whew. Yeah, if you could get Max Crosby onto this team, it might change a lot of the defensive schemes. But with that being said, it does seem like Aaron Glenn prefers to use the shooting gaps blitz, press man across the board, force quarterbacks to throw into tight windows over and over again for throughout 4 quarters of the game. And to be honest, there's just not many teams that run this style of defense anymore. So when you go, why I like that as a coach is when you're preparing for the Detroit Lions, you're going to have to spend. All right, so let's Scooby-Doo this. All right, Sunday you play a game. Monday your team's off. Tuesdays the players return, but on very limited basis. Wednesday, begin your walkthroughs. Thursday, you do some hitting. Sometimes you do some hitting on Wednesdays as well. And then Friday, just walkthrough. Same with Saturdays. So you only have a very limited amount of time to prepare for a style of defense that only about 25% of the league plays man-to-man. Well, I guess you could say 35%. Now, press man, that much? Man, there's probably only 1 or 2 teams that do it to the extent the Lions do, and maybe not even that. So where I'm going with this is I love it from a coaching standpoint in that a lot of the stuff you would run against most teams, your base offenses, you're not going to use them as much against Detroit just because they're not going to be applicable. So that's where I think they could have potentially have a win there. Crosby's a monster. I don't think anybody's ever going to doubt that. But I do think there's some evidence that they're not going to do something like that just because the style of defense wouldn't justify getting him. It'd be like getting, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a comparison here, like in a basketball. It'd be like trying to go out and get Shaquille O'Neal if you were going to run the Loyola Marymount offense. It just wouldn't make any sense. And maybe that's too old school for everybody, but I guess, hey, there's your homework assignment for the day. Thomas, great salutations, dude. Crew, exclamation point. Hutch is a monster. What a great hometown story. Yeah, Lion for life. I believe he will be. I don't see a scenario where he's ever not a Detroit Lion. I think he's going to be here for his entire career. And good for us, man. He's proving out to be everything probably any cautiously optimistic Lions fan could have wanted, and probably even more than that. Burger time. Hey, good morning, Bergs. How you doing? Glad to see you on the show, man. Morning, coach. 13 more Sundays. I like that, man. Woo! And yes, 13 more Sundays to go until we've got something to talk about. All right, Stephanie. Good morning, boys! Exclamation point. I think Hutchinson gets forgotten a lot by fans and the media. He's had such a good first 2 years in the league. I truly believe he's only getting better. Yeah, I would say most players, to your point, Steph, probably really start hitting their peak probably year 4 or 5. And then it's a question of how long can you maintain it. Some guys, it's a year or 2. Some guys, 4 years. I think after that, you just start getting to the point, especially the positions he plays, where you start seeing some slippage. He's going to get better. I don't think there's any doubt about it. It's just how much better? Well, according to the coaching staffs, he's looking significantly better this and these OTAs. Thomas, if Tarian lives up to the hype, he may just be that nudge that pushes this team over the edge. Yeah. And again, using what I'm anticipating for the defense to be, I think Hutchinson's going to have a chance for about 15 sacks this year. I think the secondary is going to have a chance for a lot of interceptions this year, just because you're going to have a ton of quarterbacks. I know I did that video, whatever, a week or so ago, where we're trying to break down evidence of what they did last year and the year before that just gave so many quarterbacks struggles, where you could see people throwing off their back foot or throwing high releases or tip passes, getting hit while they thrown. And that's where I hate bringing it up all the time, but in the NFC Championship game, the plays were there to be made by the secondary, or we'll just say the defense. It's unfortunate that some of those plays weren't made because, yes, we would have been in the Super Bowl, and I think we would have won the Super Bowl. But it is what it is. Cam Sutton's no longer here. Kendall Vildor is, but hopefully he's not going to bounce one off his face mask again. And I hate bringing that up all the time. If Arnold can simply hold on to the passes, or the opportunities, I should say, that presented other cornerbacks in the past year, he's going to get 3 or 4, maybe 5 picks. I think that's true with Carlton Davis. I think it's true with Rakestraw. Probably going to be true with Emmanuel Mosley. But to your point, Thomas, yeah, I think he's going to have a pretty good rookie year. All right, France, good evening, all! Exclamation point. How much do Jags fans regret not taking Aiden? Question mark. It doesn't feel right to think that Hutch is only entering his 3rd season this fall. What a great fit he has been for this team and city. He is. I mean, he is Mr. Lion. I mean, he is a prototypical, what you would say, MCDC Brad Holmes type player. And, I think you'd make that statement about Aleem McNeil, amongst other players, and won't do a dive on who is or who isn't on the team. What we can say is he's been everything they could have hoped for and probably more, and he's only going to be in year 3. All right, Bo, Jeff Risden had a great take on some of the negativity regarding JMO and Hooker, despite having made some outstanding plays and some DBs making the same against them. And it's Risden knows what he's doing, and he's there obviously on a full-time basis watching. This is what he does for a living. So he's over there watching OTAs. He's watching them grow. He knows the players. The players probably know him. When he makes a statement, I'll put it this way. He has more credence to his statement than probably the 99% of the YouTubers or media people or whoever, because he knows the game. B, he knows the coaching moments. And C, he's exposed to this all the time. I don't cover the Lions on a full-time basis anymore. I basically talk to people, talk to you guys, read some stuff online, and form opinions on it. So when Riz has something on it, I would say, yeah, it's noteworthy to listen to him. He seems, from what I can tell, and having talked with him, as you guys know, a little bit, he seems like he's cautiously optimistic on Hooker. And it seems like he believes that Jameson Williams is going to have a pretty good year. I think most of us agree with all that. Probably the Hooker is going to replace Goff hype that was around last year and this offseason. That's probably not happening anytime soon. And, where these things are going to go, we'll have to wait and see. Hooker might end up being a pretty good quarterback. Just it's probably not going to be this weekend. All right. Just say, Kay, good morning, Duke Crew! Exclamation point. With yesterday's performance, do we remove Jake Bates? Ooh, good question. From our wish list. Question mark. He's not looking as special as he once did. Yes. I know he did not have a great outing yesterday. It does seem like if you look at his indoor track record, it's off the charts. It does seem like when he's outdoor, that's where maybe his kicking performance goes down slightly. The 50-some yarder to win it, it didn't look great. That thing was pretty wide, but it would have been good from maybe 1,000 yards out. I mean, that's a joke, but he kicked that thing with some real power. The question I guess I would start having with him is he really going to be a significant upgrade over Michael Badgley? And that's where I'm just no longer certain. Now, if you're talking about leg strength, he's an upgrade. He is a rocket shot upgrade. And I get Badge has done a great job this offseason. He's hitting some from 60 or whatever. But make no mistake about it. Jake Bates is kicking those things from 70-plus yards. And it's just, man, it's impressive to see a human being do that. Now, can you clean up the accuracy where you feel like he's a significant upgrade for the team? I guess you're going to have to trust your coaching staff if that's the case. But I do think while there's still going to be a multitude of NFL teams trying to acquire his services, I don't know if it's going to be 30 teams out of 32 trying to get him when the opportunity arises. I think it could be more like 15 or so teams. But either way, if you believe in him, if you believe you can coach him up and help fix that accuracy, you've got a weapon very, very few teams in the NFL would ever dream of having. All right, Michael, or excuse me, Robert, greetings in multiple situations. All right, we'll go with that, Robert, and good morning to you too. Clark, good morning, all you crazy people, exclamation point. Who's got it better than Lions fans? Question mark, nobody. I'll go with that. Right now, we are about the creme de la creme of the NFL, and we'll take it. Even though we haven't won the Super Bowl yet, I think a lot of people in Lions land are waiting for that season to begin to see what happens. I think it's going to be a real good year for us. Ed, Hutch, and Aleem will combine for over 25 sacks. Book it, baby. Taking it to the books. And yes, Dano will book it, put it down there. That'd be a heck of a season. And it could totally happen. It could happen. So I'm going to mark that one down. Ed, Lions Talk Live. Yes, you are in the right place for that. All right, let's see. Big Eddie, what do you got? Greens and Sanitations do crew. How much better can Aiden get? That's the question I have. All right, I guess if you're just talking from a statistical standpoint, I've already said I'm thinking he's going to get somewhere around 15 sacks. And if you're talking he's just shy of 40 sacks in 3 seasons, I don't know where that puts him on the all-time list, but it's got to be near the top, I would think, right? Ed, he had a few almost sacks last year that if he finished the tackle would have been a sack. He could have had 2 or 3 more sacks. Yep, and it's probably going to happen almost every season, any kind of sack master. Some people are going to get away, but overall, I don't think you can complain about it. There was when he got to the Rams playoff game, I get, some of those were gimme sacks, but still, he had a stretch of like 8 sacks in 4 games or something like that. You could see when they started taking down the amount of snaps he had per game, just to keep him a little bit more fresh, vibrant, that, he really hit his stride. And if Hutch alongside McNeil, Houston, Carlton Davis, Brian Branch can play out of their mind, I think will be good to go, in my opinion. Yeah, this defense, I think, with Jack Campbell's emergence, DJ Reader getting healthy, it could be a pretty nasty defense for people to play against. All right, Dave, Hutch played tired and hurt because he had so little help. Now he has so much help. I think they have a huge task of who to keep and who to let go. Boy, I think you're pretty spot on with that with Dave. I think the rotation is going to be a lot better. And like you guys are kind of already saying, he's not going to have to play 92% of the snaps, 12 games into the season or whatever it was last year, where you could just see he was tired. He was worn down. I'm hoping they keep him around 70% of the snaps just so he can keep that burst throughout the game, especially in the fourth quarter, and probably stay healthier throughout the day. So we'll see what happens with him, but I've got some pretty good opinions that they're going to be able to rotate. Whether whoever's starting opposite Hutchinson, you're going to have some depth and some weapons out there. I think you're going to have a real good pass rush. All right, let's see. Lions fan number 1, good morning all. This defense will destroy other teams this fall, I think. Hutchinson might just be near the league leaders in sacks and pressures. Well, he was the league leader in pressures last year. Sacks, yes, he could definitely make on a case to get up there. So as strong as he's performed the start of his career, I think, there's no reason to think that's going to change. Ed, but really need Davis to come out swinging. Let's make sure he does. Detroit D, Green Sanitations. Everyone, Green Sanitations to you, my friend. Hopefully having a great Mountain Dew this morning. All right, Quentin, let's see, Green Sanitations, y'all. What's good, everybody? Waking up rough today, boys. All right, you have a little bit of a night out then? Maybe go watch some MMA or something and have a beverage or two, maybe a Mountain Dew. Well, kick back, relax, man, and enjoy the show. Thanks for always being here, Quentin. All right, Ed, all the players keep talking about is how, quote, AG showed his true self towards the end of last year. Well, end quote. Well, I hope that's the case. Don't want to wait until week 15 to start blitzing again. Yeah, I would say, so you go back the past 2 seasons. We get to the Green Bay game at Ford Field, and that's one where Hutchinson picks off Rodgers in the end zone. That's where we kind of started going to the Blitzburg, And really, I think at that point, he kept it throughout the season. It worked well. Last year at the start of the season, we all get it. We played so much zone coverage, and we did some zone blitzing out of it. Not to say we didn't, but it does seem like he just got to the point where he just said, skip it. We're going back to doing it this way. We're going to live or die with it, and we did. Now, we were getting hits on quarterbacks and stuff. The receivers, as we all know, like the Justin Jefferson game in Minnesota, we just couldn't cover them. We didn't have those kind of dudes out there playing coverage. We believe we have those kind of dudes now. So will that bring the passing yards down? Yes. Will they still be high? I believe so. But I think we're going to get more picks and we're going to get more sacks out of it. So I'm down with it. Ed, I want to see crazy blitzers early. Yes, I just say, man, roll with it the entire game. Full court press, zone blitz, whatever you want to say, man-to-man press coverage blitz. Put the pressure on them. You're either going to make plays against us or you're not. If you don't, we're going to, and we're going to take that ball from you. All right, Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Anthony. Thanks for all you do for the channel. Thanks for always being here, my friend. Bo, if Hutch stays healthy all season, he will have more than 15 sacks. Okay, I'll go with that, man. Hey, Bo, what's your total? I'm saying 15 just because I think you're going to have a lot of guys get sacks, but let's see what you got. All right, Dominic, good morning from Texas. Good morning to you, Dominic. Detroit Lions win their first Super Bowl ever. I'll go with that. 20 and 5. All right, 20-5. I'll go with that. And yeah, Super Bowl win. I don't care how we get there. Just make it happen. Jedi Sith, good morning, all. Good back at you. Big Daz, I think Hutch is the guy on defense we can't afford to lose. And good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew. I agree with all the above. Yeah, he is one of the few elite players we have, and at any level. We've got some guys that are good. I think, Alex Anzalone is good. I think Campbell's good. I think Ali McNeil's good. DJ Reader, for what his responsibilities probably are going to be on this team, he might be borderline elite. But there's not a ton of elite guys. I think there's some good dudes out there. So we will see. And good morning, by the way. Steve Rogers, Hutch will crush. I like that, man. I like that. Good morning, Cap. Joseph, great salutations, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation points. You can tell a big difference in the way Hutchinson is talking and everything. He just seems like he's getting more grown up and sounding more like a leader. He's probably, 23 or 4 now? So, yeah, he's probably starting to hit that age where he's no longer the kid. He's starting to become an adult in all earnestness, maturing, the body, developing. He's starting to get his quote unquote man weight or whatever. So yeah, he's probably going to make a big impact on the defense this year and be a leader on the team. All right, let's see. JDC, morning all, back at you. Ed, need to bring down Hutchinson's stamp, in my opinion, keep him fresher. Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. Don't let it get near that 90, 92 level like it did the majority of the season a year ago. Joseph, can't wait to see the season starts. Yeah, and I'll say this: the season, it's getting closer and closer. Every Sunday that goes by, what was it earlier in the show? We had, I'm not going to scroll back through, but I had it at 18 more Sundays or 13 more Sundays, whatever it is. But each one of these Sundays that goes by, you know what? You're 1 week closer. All right, Ed, my favorite thing about the season is Sewell hyping up the team. In your opinion, yeah, I get that, man. He's going to be pumping up, and he's another one. We talk about Hutchinson starting to become a leader on the team. I have no doubt Panay is getting to that age where he's starting to. I mean, he's a dad now. He's got a couple kids. He's got a wife. He's been in the league a few years. He's still only, 22, 23, something like that. So hard to believe. But, yes, I think we got some good centerpieces for leadership. All right, Ed, love that Sewell brings to the team. Yeah, he does, man. He brings the ruckus. He brings the noise. And you know what? I think you got two good guys on both sides of the ball to build around from a leadership standpoint, let alone a talent standpoint. Joseph, do you think we are going to make a move with our money that we have left in cap space? Question mark. And also, if we don't use the money that we have to spend this year, does it take rollovers next year? So I know some people have mentioned about rolling over. It doesn't exactly work that way, but what you can do, you can bring in some of the future contract. So let's just use Jared Goff as an example. Could you take some of his, 2025 or 2026 money and displace it to this year to bring those years down? Yes, you can. you can rework the contract to make that happen, just like you can with other players. It's not just one guy. So, Joseph, I think that's a great question. And if they don't use the money, they're going to use it in one way or fashion. They're just not going to let it rot because it doesn't help the team out to just let it sit. So, great question. Yes, I do think they will move it. As far as what they're going to do with it, I do think I like the idea of bringing in another receiver. They may not, though. But I do think they're going to pay down some existing contracts just to make them more team friendly as the season goes on or the years go on. All right, Jason, good morning. Do crew, Superdome or bust. I say this fine morning. Yes, it is a fine morning, and it's a great morning to be thinking about the Superdome. This season simply cannot get here soon enough. No, I think everybody watching this show, anybody who's a Lions fan out there in YouTube land, they're all sitting around. Why? Hey, I know Phil doesn't want to talk about the summer going by too fast. Enjoy your summer, but when that season hits, man, we're all gonna be ready for it. And good morning to you too, Jason. All right, Patrick. Good morning, Duke Crew. I think the way Hutch is going with just a little bit of help from the D line, he'll tear up this year. Yeah, I think there's a strong opportunity. You're going to see him blitzing from multiple different positions, and that's not really anything new. I just think you might see it more this year. I think you could see him on delayed stunts going over the middle. I think you can see him on pulls. I think you can see him blitzing from the linebacker position, both end positions. You're going to see him all over the board, and I'm down with it because I think that makes it tougher for offensive linemen to constantly chat and talk about where they need to block and make adjustments to their blocking structures, especially when we're at home in Ford Field, where I think we all know that is going to be a real loud season at home. The fans are going to be packed. It's going to be sold out. Yeah, he could have some monster numbers. Anthony, with 40.5 million, need to spend wisely. Yeah, and I think if you look at Brad Holmes, he more often than not wants to re-sign their own players. So I won't be surprised if they do that or move some contracts down in overall cap number. Joseph, feels good to actually catch a live show, even though I can't talk. Yes, and I'm glad you're here live. Glad you were able to make it. And thanks for being here, my friend. Hopefully you're enjoying the live ones. All right, Patrick, take some of that cap money and re-sign him now. They might. But the good thing is with Hutch is they do have the 5th-year option. So let's see, this is going to be year 3. So they've still got this season and 2 more on the rookie deal before they move on, but they could do it now. Nine Drinks, Hutchinson is the arrow pointing up. Yes, he is the guy. He is the alpha male. Bo, Hutch has been allowed to grow into a leadership position. Good role models like Anzalone helps. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah. Anzalone, another guy who a lot of Lions fans, a lot of us didn't like him when he first got here. Some of us didn't really understand the re-signing, but I think he has developed every year, and he's proven to be, I think, more than an adequate linebacker for this team. All right, Rocky, good morning. All felt bad for Hutch when he took that nasty hit when he was carrying the ball. Hurt for a while after that. Yeah, when he got the interception, and he got the blindside hit on the hip. Yeah, I remember watching that live and going, man, just don't let it be a knee. Don't let it be a knee. Thankfully, while he might not have been fully healthy after that, it wasn't anything too egregious, it seems. Anthony, with DJ Reader on that, do you line? He is going to make everybody better. Yeah, with DJ Reader on the defensive line, yes, I agree. He's going to make everybody better. That's why it'll be interesting to see where they move everybody around. I believe you're going to have Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil next to each other, and then DJ next to Aleem, and then whoever, Davenport, Houston, or somebody else bets on that opposite side. I think it's going to make it tough to really focus too much on blocking Aleem or Hutchinson because, again, I think DJ Reader more often than not is going to get 2 guys blocking him. That also means there'll be a lot of times Hutchinson gets 2 guys, and he just can't double team everybody. And I think that's where the math problem comes from, especially if we're going to go Blitzburg. So we'll see, but I think it's going to be a real fun year to watch the D. Ed, what do you got? Dan is live. Let's go. That's the man. Yeah, hey, thanks for that. And yes, we are live every morning, 7 to 8, roughly 8 a.m. All right, Doug, he's in his 3rd defensive line coach in 3 years. It will be interesting to see the new chemistry. Once we get in the pads, once we compete even at a low-level exhibition games, we'll know then. We'll know more then. Yes, I would agree. I do wonder if Hutchinson will even play in the preseason games. I do wonder if a lot of the ones will play in the preseason games. If it's me, I probably don't put them out there, at least not very much, man. I'm going to keep them as fresh as long as possible. And I know we've talked about it before on the show, but that's why I think the NFL has moved a lot of the divisional games back to week 6, 7, etc. Just so more and more teams can use week 1, 2, and 3 is basically their preseason games for their number one units. Ed, is Reader expected to be ready for week 1? Yeah, as far as I know, yes, but it doesn't mean he will be. So I would think he will be out there. I don't think he's going to touch a preseason game by any stretch, but I think by week 1 of the regular season, yes, he will be. Anthony, yes, he is. Oh, good to know. Thank you for confirming that. All right, let's see. Ed, we play at MetLife week 1 of preseason and hope and pray we don't play any starters, the game that don't need to lose any ACLs in that dummy field. Yeah, I agree. Just let the 2s, the 3s, the 4s all play, especially that week. Get eyes on those guys. Don't put anybody of any kind of significance out on the field. I agree with you there. Amy, good morning, Coach and Duke crew! Exclamation points. I can't wait to see this come completely together. Just awesome. Yeah, this team, both sides of the ball, should be lights out pretty good. We're going to be, in my opinion, a top 6, maybe top 4, maybe a top 2, maybe the number 1 team. Hold on a second. Whatever it's going to be, this team should be very special and very good. They should also be tough to scout and play against, just for the things I talked about earlier with the defense, just that you play such a unique style of football for 4 quarters that it's just going to be very unfamiliar for a lot of teams. You're going to have to make adjustments. Teams are going to find holes in your defense or whatever. Same with the offense. And the faster both offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator can make those adjustments, then you know what? Then they're going to do better and better. And that's where I think that just the more experience that you're seeing both guys get will help make those adjustments in game, not waiting at halftime or whatever to make them. So, yeah, I think it could be a real good year for both. And good morning to you, Amy. Patrick, Pro Football Focus, I think, is still not a total believer in the Lions. They always seem to grade our players a little low. They do. Hey, it's an opinion-based business. That's their opinions. Now you got them. Now go out there and prove them wrong. That's what I would say. And, slap them in the face and say, hey, you had us at number 29 or whatever at this position. Well, looks like we're number 5 or number 1 now. So use that as rocket fuel for the players and the coaching staff. Do a very Amon-Ra St. Brown thing. He's very aware of all the guys drafted ahead of him at wide receiver, and he's used that to propel him to being one of the NFL's best. And he's not the only one on the team, but you guys get it. Use that as rocket fuel. Ed, let's be honest. Do y'all think year 1 Sewell was owning Hutch? I think so. Hey, Panay he's pretty dang good, man. And I think you see that across the NFL that in a lot of different rankings, if he's not one of the best tackles in the game, or if he's not the best tackle in the game, he's one of the best. And you can Scooby-Doo it, split hairs on him. Hey, maybe this guy's a little bit better in this area, that area. Whatever it is, we can say Panay Sewell is one of the best tackles, right or left, in all of the NFL. So go with it. It's probably no shame if Hutchinson got slowed down a little bit by him. All right, Doug. He's not a Crosby yet. He's the best we've had so far. Maybe, yeah. He might not be the number 1 in the league. He might not be number 2. But the fact that he's in the conversation for that means we're probably trending in the right direction. All right, Joseph. Can't help but feel kind of bad for Hooker because he's always had to fight to get a spot just about his whole life. To get the starting spot, he's had a pretty rough trial to get to. Yeah, I mean he's had to go through it for sure in college and now in the pros. But you know what? Hey, face the challenge and tackle the challenge. Beat it up. See what you can do with it. And maybe he does ascend to someday being in real competition with Jared Goff for the starting spot. Maybe he does it with another team. You can either stay down on the mat or you can get yourself up and win the fight. And that's what I would say, Hendon Hooker. Hey, you got an opportunity here. Get up, see what you can do, see what you can do to push yourself and make yourself tomorrow better than you were today. Joseph, where he is at. Yes, 100%. Anthony Hutch, number 1 in 102 pressures. He's going to have 18 sacks with Reader on that D line. He's going to command double teams which is going to able to shift tons of sacks. Yeah, and we're thinking alike there. I think there's going to see you won't just be able to double team the same person over and over on that defensive line. I think you're going to see a lot of guys be the beneficiary of each other's successes and the style of defense we'll play. So, yeah, I think you're spot on, Anthony. I think you're going to see Hutch go off this year. All right, Rocky, I say it's always a good idea to draft a player whose dad was an ex-NFL player, so he's used to the glamour. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't catch him off guard. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Anthony, you can bet that Brad Holmes is going to do this smart. He's not just going to spend it all the money. Yeah, he's going to have a plan for it. He probably already does have a plan on some ideas how he's going to use the money. Ed, if Houston and Davenport can give us combined 10 sacks or more with Aleem, who probably will get 10 or so, and Hutch with another 13, we should be good to go. Yeah, those would be impressive numbers across the line and make it very difficult for opposing teams to figure out who to block or be your primary blocking assignment. All right, Miles, good morning, coach and crew. Hutch is top dog this year. Save the cash for December needs. All right, there you go. Maybe wait for the trade deadline. I know some people mentioned that yesterday. Could totally do that. Doug, $40.5 million. It's Brad's piggy bank. Trust me, he knows. Yes, he's got a plan without question. He's got an idea what he's going to do with the money. Mike the Marine, Gunny, how did Dan Lyons feel? Do or die season. Woo! Good morning, Gunny, and hopefully you're having a great one. Anthony, I don't know if we're going to go receiver. We like one, go at $17 million. I don't believe we're going to spend $20 million on Higgins. Yeah, I would say that doesn't seem like a Brad Holmes type move. I mean, Higgins, nothing against him. He'd be a great addition. But I do get your point that I don't think we're going to spend that kind of money on him. Plus, what it's going to take to more likely acquire him. So I see what you're saying there. Big D, save it for next year. There you go. Big D, or sign more of our pure breeds. There you go. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Keep some of our guys that we've drafted, keep them in house, get them re-signed now. All right, Big D, to a nice contract. There you go. Yeah, I agree with that, man. I agree. I'd see Anthony, pass rush, if anything. All right, who you getting? That's what I want to know. Who are we going out and getting in pass rush? I would like the idea if you can get somebody without overspending for them. That's the tough part. If I know somebody said earlier in the show, Crosby, you're going to have to give him so much to get that dude. To me, that would be the tough part. Anthony, and now Broderick coming into his own. We are just fine. Pay our players. Yeah, Broderick Martin is bringing out even more praise this week. If you guys want, go ahead and Google search or whatever Broderick Martin. You'll find it. You see a lot of players talking about him. See or hear, I guess, read different coaches talking about him. But it sounds like he's ready to come to play this year. And if you add him to the mix, or at least the rotation, man, you start talking about the Lions have some real good athletes who can get in and spell each other. I mean, you think about Aleem, you think about DJ, you add, Broderick into that mix. You think about the ends and some of the depth we have there. Yeah, you start having a real good mix of things. All right, Big Dads, I'm with Frank the Tank. Go get Crosby. That would make the D-line unstoppable. Woo! Yeah, but how much are we giving up to get him? That's the tough part, I think. I'd love to have him without question. I just don't know if I'd be able to give up 2 or 3 first-round picks to acquire him. Maybe they wouldn't need that much, but whatever it is, you're going to have to pay for him. All right, Doug, we are a premier team now. We cannot hide players behind the 53-man roster. Too many of any position seems fruitless. Keep the best of our fruit before it spoils, but it's up to Brad. He knows more. Yeah, trust in Brad Holmes, and that's why I know we've been saying that since even before the draft. You just do such a great job drafting that anybody you do draft, you're probably going to have to keep on the 53-man roster because you can't put them on the practice squad. They'll get got. So I understand what you're saying there, Doug. Anthony, you can bet other teams are licking their chops waiting for our 53-man roster. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of good dudes cut that they're going to be snagged pretty quick by other teams. So I hear you there. Amy, let's see. Why does everyone want to suggest how Sheila spends her cash? I am sure she has the advisors to give her enough ideas. I think that she has done an awesome job. She has. Go Sheila. Hey, Amy, to your point, we would not be as a franchise where we are now if she did not take over. And it's no disrespect to anybody else, but the proof is in the records. The proof is on the field. You look at what the Lions were before she took over and after she took over. She led to the hiring of Chris Spielman. She led to the hiring of MCDC, Brad Holmes, and then obviously the trickle-down effect with what they've done with their responsibilities. So you're spot on, Aim. I mean, Sheila Hamp, has done nothing but revitalize this franchise that had been down, unfortunately, for 60-plus years. All right, Big D, Raiders already took care of Crosby. Yes, they did. They did, and I don't see him leaving, but never know, man. Doug, no one is going to be tested more than AG. He's the one who is going to be expected to excel. He has enough talent where there are no more excuses. A full roster. Final exam, yeah. You get the opportunity to pass the test and get on to the next class. Here you go. You got the talent you wanted. You got the parts you needed. Now go out and, hey, do something good with it. Anthony Vilder won't be here on the roster. No, I think there's real strong possibility he doesn't make the cut. Hope he makes it, man. I mean, I hope well for everybody, but at the end of the day, we all know you can't keep everybody, you can't pay everybody. He might be on the wrong side of that equation. Patrick, with most players, it takes a true 3 years for their body to fully adapt to the NFL way of use/abuse. It takes that long of a full off-season activities for the body to make that change. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. And, Hutch, he's entering, year 3. Big Dads, with Hutch, Crosby, Blitzbergs, that would be fantastic. Yeah, it would be. It would be. So can we get them? Wait and see. All right, Joseph, can't wait to see if the offense and the defense has gotten better. Yeah, I think everybody watching this is hoping that defense is better than it was the last year or 2 years or whatever. The offense, if they can just maintain with that, let alone get better, then wow, that'd be impressive. And you know what? It should get better. Gibbs should improve. Laporta should improve. Jameson, St. Brown should all improve. These guys are young players. They haven't hit their peaks yet by any means. And that's, I guess, where the scary part comes from. All right, Doug, Bo, I agree about the negative comments. I want to scream sometimes too. Jeff Risden has a mature attitude about what's happening or not. Yeah, Rizzy's he's been a good dude. He's been in this business for a while. He knows what he's seeing. All right, Joseph, I know they've gotten better, but can't wait to see how much better. Yeah, I agree with that. Agreed. All right, Anthony, with our coaches, Bates would be a beast. He already has distance. Yes, he's got the hardest part to do. The part maybe you can't teach. He's got the kicking mule power. I mean, he can boot that ball from 70 plus. And not that I'm saying you're going to want him to, but you coach up that accuracy, you believe you can. You might just have one of the rarest weapons in the NFL. All right, Doug, as for Bates, I'd be more worried about teams we play having him score 3 against us. But then as long as he misses, it's a premium field position for the Leos. Yes, if he misses from that range, that's the other side of it. And good point there, Doug. You're going to have him boot 60 or 70 yarders. When he misses, that offense is already beyond the 50. All right, let's see. It's mile marker. Just say, K, your comment is the most level-headed I've seen about Bates for a while. Makes me wonder if MCDC could trust him in the big crunch moments. It'd be a nice weapon to have, but again, one you're going to have to coach up a little bit. So I'm with you on there, Miles. Moonscar, hey, all 15 sacks would be awesome. Having better DB coverage, right side help, middle help, and his motor should be a great chance. Yeah, I think he's going to have a huge year. I have no doubt about it in my mind. I also think you're going to see a lot of guys get sacks just begin going down to the X's and O's of everything. All right, and good morning, Moonscar, by the way. Ken, great salutations and do crew. Let's go Lions, Super Bowl or butts. Ban the bust. There you go. Woo! And good morning to you, Ken. Hopefully you're having a great morning. J-Rod, Davenport, Reeder, McNeil, and Hutch. Enough said. Very good. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. They're going to have a good line out there. 1,000%. Ed, teams think we play too physical. How do you react to that as a coach? Tough luck, man. I don't care what sport I coach. We're going to get after you. We're going to get in your face. We're going to bring the pain and the noise, man. We're going to make it uncomfortable for you. And not rudely, not disrespectfully, not inappropriately, whatever. But we're going to get in your face. We're going to chew the bubble gum you're chewing. And we're going to put you down on the floor. You don't like it? Then you know what? There's the sideline. Go sit over there. Because that we are going to establish our dominance early. And again, we're not going to break rules. We're not going to do anything like that. We're not going to, kick people when they're down. We're not going to wait until the refs aren't looking and hit them over the back of the head with a steel chair. That's a WWE thing. It's not, like a real sports thing or whatever. But we're going to do everything we can in a respectful manner. And I think that's what the Lions are going to do. I don't, when I hear some players, was it Justin Fields say, well, he hit me when I was out of bounds. Dude, you were still partially in bounds. You're in play. I get people don't like getting hit like that. But I would also say this to my team or other teams. If you can get rattled that easily, then I've already got an advantage over you because now you're going to be constantly looking for me to hit you. And if you believe I'm hitting you when you're going out of bounds and you're still in bounds, you're going to be looking for a reason to complain to corroborate your belief. And if you're more focused on that than the next play, then you know what? We got you again. All right, J-Rod, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Easy like Sunday morning, 100%. And that's what it is, Sunday morning. J-Rod, good morning to you too. Gunny, what do you got? Save money for injury and to a key player or trade deadline player to push us over the top, not outbid. Yes, I'm down with that. Do not get into a bidding war. Win division, woo! Win NFC championship, woo! Win Super Bowl, woo! I like the way you're thinking there, Gunny. Good, and yeah, good thinking there. Doug, this year we have so many more players we expect to have an impact, and also so many have legitimate hopes they will improve significantly. If we have any good surprises, look out. Yeah, and I think could be a couple of guys that could be surprised on this year's team. I know we've talked about Wingo. We've talked about a couple different guys that could have push forward, breakout years or whatever. I think there will be a couple guys that make noticeable improvements this year. And like you're saying, Doug, some guys that will probably surprise us too. All right, Bo, Sunday, Bloody Sunday, yes. Cry from the optimism. Yeah, opposition. There you go. Yeah, opposition. And good morning. Yes, I know I said that before. Silver Surfer, good morning, Coach. Hutch is a leader. He is 100% there. And good morning, Surfer. Phil, getting a Diet Dew label off a 2-liter for a Dew Crew guitar. Good luck with that, man. Scrape slowly and accurately. See, Bo, 20. All right. And yeah, we had Sutton and Vilder. I'm surprised we didn't give up more in those number ones, to those number ones. Hey, give them some credit. I mean, they're in the NFL for a reason. They can play. It's just neither one of them are number 2. Obviously number 1 cornerback. And they were forced in those roles because there was nobody else. So that's where I kind of always gave them, a little bit of a pass. Neither one of them should have been facing Jefferson or any true NFL number 1 receiver. And I don't believe Sutton is probably the best corner we had on the team last year, and he should not have been facing number 2s. He's not a man corner. He's not. He doesn't have those kind of cover skills. Even when we had him playing man-to-man for long stretches of time, go back and watch his head movement. When that ball snapped, he doesn't keep contact on the receiver. He goes to zone read responsibilities. His head is going to the backfield. That's when I remember, was it the playoff game against the Buccaneers? I shouldn't say he let Evans go down the sideline, but in that big moment, he wanted to locate the ball instead of the man. And yeah, right before halftime, that's when Evans caught that one right, was it like 2-3 yard line and set up a would-be score. So it happens, man, and he's no longer here. All right, Doug, play Hutchinson, rest, plays Hutch, rest, which I recommend / all players need. Who are the 2 players lining up schemes? Yeah, and there's a lot to be revealed and talked about in time. Who are going to be the players next to Hutch? We'll have to find out in the schemes. I think we're going to be Blitzburg, but we'll have to wait and see. Just because I think it doesn't make it so. All right, Joseph, 15-2 before the playoffs, 100%. And woo! And man, that would be an impressive year. As long as we can keep those 2 wins to non-division games, I'd be way fine with that. Phil, what was the fight about on the field that involved Skipper? Just guys getting into it. You get pushing and shoving people around, especially for long periods of time. People are going to get chippy. It's going to happen. And excuse me, it's going to happen in any sport. It's just human nature. That ego starts coming out. The testosterone starts building up. People, things happen, but I don't know if there's specifics as to why they got into it. But I'm going to guess, Phil, it's probably ultimately not a big deal. All right, Patrick, I say Sewell gets to catch 2 passes this year. being an elite receiver that he is, laughing out loud. But yeah, 2 catches this year. I can see him using them, and there were opportunities for him to catch some passes last year where he did run a route, was open, just the ball didn't come his way. J-Rod, I make a bet the other day, guaranteed 13 wins and first Super Bowl appearance. I think that's going to be a good bet. And hopefully you win on both of those. Phil, Dan's memory is amazing. He remembers everything, one of us. All right. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yes, I'll take all the above. Thank you. Keep the compliments coming. Yes, I'm with you, Phil. J-Rod, Jack Hammer takes a step as well. Kid reminds me of Chris Spielman. Yeah, Jack the Hammer. Yeah, Jack Campbell. Yeah, I think he's going to make a noticeable improvement this year. I think he's someone to watch. I think, Brian Branch will be someone to watch. Basically, any of the rookies from last year. They should be noticeably better this upcoming season. All right, Patrick. Hutch gets 3 INTs this year again. Man, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Here's Johnny. Carlton Davis locking that ish down. Let's go. Yes, he's made commentary what he wants to do and what he's going to do. Let's now see him go out there and do it. I'd say J-Rod, speed, run, defensive end, defensive tackle, defensive end. Reader is next to Hutch. Ooh, man, that would be a massive side if they do that. And I'd be fine with it because you are not double teaming both of those dudes if they're next to each other. Which, if they do, man, everybody on that opposite side's got 1-on-1. Unless you're leaving in 7 or 8 dudes or whatever. Yeah, go for it. Phil, unless they run a 3-4 defense. They might, man. And then Hutch could probably be one of the defense or the outside guys. Whew. I wonder where they would move Campbell in that. I don't know. Worry about it when it happens, man. Phil, will Stephen Gilmore get a chance to play this year? He's going to have to really earn it. Everybody in that secondary is fighting for snaps, man. And that secondary is deep now. It's there for the taking. He's just got to beat other guys out. All right, J-Rod Reader will still be next to Hutch. They both demand a double team. Could be. 100%. 100% could be. Phil, Lions must play 4 quarters this year. Yes, no more third quarter, breaks, which we saw way too much of last year. J-Rod, yes. All men's on lock, don't float and go. There you go. Yes, all stay locked on target. There you go. Here's Johnny Brad Holmes. Got the ingredients. Dan Campbell stirring the pot. What's cooking? Do crew? Question marks. A Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking there, Johnny. Let's see. J-Rod, I think Gilmore plays more than Mosley. It could be. If Mosley doesn't, his career is on the line, I think, this year. He's got to make a comeback this year, or boy, I just don't know if it will ever happen for Emmanuel Mosley. So, could be. And at Phil, I agree. Not one and then 2, where you're at in the third and trying to come back in the fourth. Yeah, play 4 quarters strong. 4 quarters, that gets you where you want to be. I think. Phil, last year the first game starters were not even around at the end of the season. Yeah, a lot of truth to that. J-Rod with Hooker, remember, Tom Brady was quarterback number 2 at a time as well. Yes, he was. And he eventually, we all know the Tom Brady story. So, hey, moving on. J-Rod, Simmons, and Higgins, there you go. They both would be nice additions. Now, can he make it both happen? I don't know. In Holmes, I trust. Doug, I think the bigger question are the last 10 players who make the 53-man roster. Some really liked players are going to be on the potential poach off practice squad. Yeah, and whoever gets on the practice squad, they're going to be fair game for any NFL team. You're going to see teams try to take them. That's why I just don't see any of this year's rookie class going on that list. All right, Phil, Houston still being affected by his injured leg. He is, man, to a degree. I'm guessing if it was the regular season or the playoffs, he'd be out there fine. But I think they're trying to let him fully rest and recuperate it a wee bit. Doug, Brad is not used to breaking the bank on players not woven into our culture already. I'd pass on Higgins. And yeah, if you're going for him, it's either going to be a 1-year rental or you're committing some pretty good money to him. So I get you there. Phil, is Buggs still on the Chiefs team? Boy, that I don't know. I know he turned himself into authorities over the, I guess you got to be careful and say alleged dog abuse or pet abuse. Beyond that, I don't really know. I haven't paid attention to Buggs since he's departed the Lions. J-Rod, Buggs is done, but yes, Chiefs, all right? So he's still on the roster there. All right, Anthony, Max is on a $94 million 4-year, 23.5 man. We could get him. We could. It's just, again, you got to give up, I'm guessing, a lot of draft capital to acquire them. What would we have to give up to get them? Phil, I wish Sheila would buy the Pistons. I wonder if they would allow that. I don't see why they wouldn't, but yeah, I do wonder if the leagues would allow that. Usually they seem to frown upon that kind of stuff. But yeah, Pistons, man, I used to love going and watching them in person, but they've been bad for so long now. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who half the team is anymore. All right, Anthony, he's on his third year. There you go. J Rod, I will talk to her. There you go. Put in a good word there. Let's see, J Rod laughing. Johnny, bring Crosby home. Bring him home. There you go. Crosby, Nowitzki. There you go, J Rod. Phil, Bates lost the game the other day. He missed. He did miss one. J Rod, Bates and Turner battle. Bye-bye, Batchley. There you go. Phil, WWE is fake. I'm devastated. Well, allegedly, there are some that speculated is. I'm not so convinced. All right, Joseph, chew the bubble gum you're chewing. There you go. Laughing out loud. That's hilarious. Yeah, you want to get in their face, man. And yeah, don't let them get away. All right, Anthony, Rocket Red countdown, lift off. Can't wait to see the long ball with Williams and Goff. Yeah, you're going to probably see a lot of Jameson Williams and Goff connecting this year. Dr. Detroit, so much competition this season, as there should be, man. Nobody's giving anything. You got to go out there and earn it. Anthony, after that Dallas game, Skipper has a chipper. There, you're probably right on that. And, I'm going to guess a lot of Lions players and coaches have circled that Dallas game waiting for it. But they're going to have some to play before they get there, too. Anthony, I believe some players that play that hurt card a lot on losing teams, whereas playing on a winning team, they tend to suck it up. Yeah. If you got something to play for, yeah, you're going through it. You're battling through the pain a little bit more. I agree with that, Anthony. Fields, what do you got? Going all the way in Brad we trust, 100%. You have to, man. He's done nothing but do us right. And see, happy trails to you, says Bo. All done and dusted. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, man. Have a great one. J Rod, have a great day. Happy trails to you all. All right, it's been over an hour. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for work and all that kind of stuff. So hope you all have a great day. If there is some sort of breaking news, I'll get it to you when I'm available today. Other than that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get to 6,800 subs. Also, if you would just take a brief moment of time, hit the thumbs up button. Helps the channel a lot. Try to get each video to 200, 300 thumbs up or more. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you all on the next Lions Talk Live.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.